It is Thursday, February 11, 2021. This is the Early Edge, powered by Sportsline. I'm your host, the Coach. We're in your feed every single day before 11 a.m., and we do it all in 10 minutes or less. The clock has started, coming off a solid winning night, 5-3. The Bulls decided they wanted to go bonkers, franchise record 25 three-pointers. But that's okay. We still won despite the Chicago Bulls. And don't forget, you still have a couple of hours left before they tee it up at Pebble Beach. And we have a couple of picks from yesterday. If you haven't watched the show, go back, see the picks. You still have time to make those. But let's bring in our cappers right now because they have been absolutely tearing it up. First, right below me, he's been giving you stuff all day. M Squared, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Yeah, that Bulls game really stung last night. I'll tell you that for sure. But we're ready to have another winning day today. Once again, follow me on Twitter again. I will release one player prop later tonight.
Love those daily player props. And right next to me, he is the man. He's our leader, Maestro. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. It was nice to get a couple of college hoops wins that didn't go down to the final possession, and I'm going back to the well with a certain team, and that'll be a tease.
All right, well, let's start before we get to that with our storylines that could affect the betting lines today. And M Squared, let's start with you.
All right, Coach. So there's a couple, obviously it's a very short slate, right? But there are some pieces of news that we care about. For the Miami Heat, Goran Dragic is still out. That is a pretty big deal considering Victor Oladipo and John Wall are both going to play in this game for the Houston Rockets. For the Toronto Raptors, OG Anunoby did not end up playing last night. Questionable again tonight. I think that he will probably return tonight. Marcus Smart remains out for Boston. Out west, we've got a few injuries to watch. The Magic could be very thin tonight. That's going to impact DFS and player props. Evan Fournier, Cole Anthony, and Al-Farouq Amino are all questionable. Michael Carter-Williams remains out. And then for the Philadelphia 76ers, Shake Milton, backup point guard, he is doubtful to play. Seth Curry is probable, but it's something to monitor as Tyrese Maxey could be someone that you could look to bet on player props and play in DFS should anything pop up with Seth Curry this afternoon.
Yeah, we can't emphasize it enough. This year, particularly in the NBA, you have to know who's playing because there's a lot of teams that are either sitting guys because of the way the back-to-backs are going. Whatever the reason is, you got to pay attention throughout the day. Okay, Maestro, I know you're looking at something in the Big Ten today.
Yeah, we got an interesting early start with Purdue going to Minnesota, and I was real surprised to see this line jump from Minnesota -2 to Minnesota -3.5. The Golden Gophers have been a great home team, but this Purdue team has already won at Ohio State, at Indiana, at Michigan State, and Sasha Stefanovic, who's a really key player for them. He missed 3 games for COVID protocols. They went 1-2. He just got back last game against Northwestern, only scored 4 points, but this is his second game back. So if this line continues to rise, gets 4 or even higher, I'm definitely going to look at the Boilermakers.
Oh, I'll be keeping track of what you're doing all day long, that's for sure. All right, before we get to our board, I want to tell everybody about something that we're doing at Sportsline that's really, really exciting. We're going to give away 5 year-long subscriptions this week. And here's all you have to do to win. You need to go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review in the show. In the review, pick a winner for next year's Super Bowl 2022. You must leave your Twitter handle so we can get a hold of you, and we're going to announce all of our winners on Monday. Now, several of you yesterday said, Coach, what about us that listen on other platforms? Well, first of all, thank you, but just go to Apple one time. Maybe next time we'll do it with somebody else, but this is about Apple, so go there. But thank you for listening. Okay, it's time for our Sportsline play of the day, and this one, oh, by the way, use the promo code EDGE and get 30 days for free if you don't win those year-long subscriptions. So much information. I apologize. All right, now our Sportsline play of the day. NHL, Jeff Hockman, he's our West Coast wise guy. He's always diving deep, trying to find the best value, and today he did just that. We're taking the Florida Panthers plus 150, plus money. You got to like that against the Lightning. It's a 7 Eastern, drop the puck. One of their best starts in franchise history, Florida, is 7-1-2. This line, Jeff says, is way too high. Take the Panthers and run with it. All right, it's time for our board today. M Squared, you're up first. Give it to me.
Yeah, Coach, I was a little surprised because it's such a short slate in the NBA, but I actually have model edges on 3 NBA games tonight. So the first game is going to be the Pacers -3 against the Detroit Pistons. The Pacers were miserable last night. It looked like they were going to get blown out by 30 by the Nets, who were on the second night of a back-to-back. They responded well in the second half. I like them in this spot. It's just a game where, this line is -3 right now. If you remove the last two games from both teams. Like, this line should be -6. My simulations make it -6.1. Look for a big bounce back from Brogdon and Sabonis. The Pacers are just the better team here, right? And then the next game I'm looking at, the Raptors and the Celtics. I like the Raptors +3.5. It's definitely about to flip to +3 at some point. I make them only +1.3 underdogs. I know they're on the second night of a back-to-back, but when you look at the way Boston is playing, they're not the same team without Marcus Smart on the floor. And the Raptors might get OG Anunoby back in this game, so I like the Raptors here. Again, they are the team that has the better offensive efficiency, slightly better defensive efficiency, and they play with a quicker pace. I like them in this spot a lot. And then finally, the Houston Rockets +3. I make this game almost a pick 'em here. I don't want to say the wrong team is favored, but I think the wrong team might be favored. Sprinkle the money line if you want to. So same story there. These two teams are somewhat similar in terms of offensive efficiency. They're actually dead even in terms of offensive efficiency. But this Houston Rockets team ranks top 5 in defensive efficiency in the NBA. They play a lot of defense. They're physical. They're aggressive. That is a problem for Miami, who does not have Goran Dragic tonight. So give me the Houston Rockets +3. I would play it all the way down to +1.
Yeah, sometimes addition is better after subtraction. And after James Harden has left the Rockets, they've been a much better team without him in the franchise. All right, it's time for the Maestro. And if you know the Maestro, you better write it down. You better pay attention to the tip times because we go all over the board. Maestro, you're up.
All right, Coach. We're going to start in the Sun Belt with South Alabama hosting Troy. Troy shoots 38.6%. So that's 331st in the nation. They're only 2-8 on the road. South Alabama has covered 4 straight. I think this line is a little bit short. I'm going to lay 6 with South Alabama. And then we're going back to the well. You guessed it. The SIU Edwardsville Cougars were 3-1, using them on the show. And this team is only 7-10. But you know what? They cover. They're 10-6 against the spread, 6-3 against the spread on the road, covered 5 of their last 6 road games. They're going to Tennessee Tech, which is 2-18, has lost 5 straight. Tennessee Tech is favored in the game by 2.5 because the home team that, actually SIU has never won at Tennessee Tech, but this is a different year. I like their guard play. Very solid guard play. They have a patient approach. I think they'll win outright, but definitely take the points. It's probably going to come down and be a very tight game. So SIUE for the 5th time on the early edge. Let's go 4-1 with them. And then in the NBA, Tobias Harris over 7.5 rebounds at Portland. Portland gives up the 8th most rebounds in the league. In that game where Portland shockingly won at Philly, Tobias had 11 rebounds. He's had 58 rebounds in his last 6 games. That's almost 10 per game. Go over 7.5 rebounds for Tobias Harris.
I love that we have some late tips as well. You can spread it out if you so desire, but we always encourage, depending on the line, getting it in early. All right, it is that time. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Jeweler puts it up. It's time for our recap. Let's start with M squared. He likes the Pacers -3 against the Pistons. That's an 8 Eastern tip. Projected score in our simulations at Sportsline is 112-101. Pacers covers 69% of the time in those. Raptors +3.5. Mikey thinks it's going to go down to +3 at some point today, so jump on it against the Celtics. He says Boston, not the same team without Marcus Smart. And finally, he likes the Rockets +3 against the Heat, 7:30 Eastern on TNT. M squared says the wrong team is favored in this one. And then the Maestro. He likes South Alabama, -6 against Troy, 7 Eastern tip. This is a graded B play on the Sportsline app, covering in 68% of our simulations. And then SIU Edwardsville, take them to the rack, +2.5 against Tennessee Tech. That's a late tip. It's 9 Eastern time. And then Tobias Harris, over 7.5 rebounds for the Sixers against the Blazers. That's also late at 10 Eastern time. And finally, our Sportsline play of the day from Jeff Hochman. Take the Panthers on the money line, +150 against the Lightning. You've got your marching orders. Let's take every single ticket straight to the pay window and have another great, enjoyable day. Remember, for M Squared, for the Maestro, for Chief, our mascot, for the Jeweler, our producer, I am your host, the Coach. The only place every single day, 7 days a week, 365 for your daily early edge. Good luck.